Good morning and welcome to AM Muscle Maintenance with InShape Fitness. I'm Coach Kim, and today's functional 5 exercise is using the same 5 exercises that we introduced on Monday, worked again on Tuesday, got a little bit better at them on Tuesday, worked in a different order and with some additional difficulty level yesterday, and we're going to do the same thing today. The 5 exercises are toe taps lying down face up, right? So those are for your hips. The walkout push-up, the downward facing dog squat or pike squat, as I actually prefer to call it, but just in case you didn't know what the pike position is, and the plie squat. So let's get started. Was that 5? Yeah, I think that was 5. No, we're missing one. The skater hops, the sideways shuffle into the skater hops. That's the 5th one. So let's get started on the floor again today. So we're going to do a couple of sets. So we're going to boost your metabolism just a little bit more and amplify your energy level, hopefully, for the day. It is a Thursday. We're in the 2nd day of April. Yesterday was April Fool's Day. I didn't really see very many April Fool's jokes, and that probably makes sense because the world is just too incredibly crazy to think about making people on edge even more by joking with them. I will say, as you're standing up really tall and then taking your body down to the floor for the toe taps, which is what we're going to do first. You're going to lie on the floor, take a couple of deep breaths on your feet if you haven't already. I'm going to tell you about my daughter's pranks yesterday in 1 second. So you take those deep breaths, lie down on the floor, and then bend your knees with your feet in the air. Your hands are beside your body. You want to pull in your belly button and you lift your feet so that you make a 90-degree angle with your hips and at your knees, right? So your feet are suspended and a straight line runs down from the knee to your hip, and your legs are about hip width apart. They're not squeezed together. And then you've got a horizontal line that stretches from the knee to the ankle. Okay. So the toe taps are the first exercise. And in the toe tap, I promise I'll get to those pranks in a second because they were kind of amusing. The toe taps, you don't move one leg. You want to pick one leg to start. So we're going to start with your left leg moving, your right leg is stable. And that means that the left leg, the left hip rather, hinges, moves. Your left knee does not move at all, but you touch the floor with your left toe and then lift the foot back up into the air to the starting position. And remember to stop at the starting position. Don't bring your knee forward towards your body more. You want to maintain that 90-degree angle. So when you get to the straight line, as you lift your foot back up, you want to pause. The control in both directions prevents momentum from building and thus helping you and thus taking away from what you need to do to control the movement and benefit from the activity itself. So keep going, keep tapping for another few seconds, and then we're going to switch legs. All right, now you're going to stabilize your left leg. Make sure it's in the right position before you start moving the right leg. And remember, when you begin, you always go in slow motion. Go slowly, get the mechanics correct. All right, we've been doing these same 5 exercises all week, so hopefully you remember this move, but you want to make sure that you don't speed up hoping that you can get to, say 10 or 15 repetitions, which I don't care about. I talk about this all the time. It's more about the time. It's more about the investment of your energy in the mechanical movement that's correct. And that's where the harvesting of the benefits takes place, right? So tap the right foot down now and then lift it back up. And a couple more seconds, then we're going to turn your body over and lift into the pike squat or the downward facing dog. Okay, great. Now turn your body over. I want you to put your hands on the floor. I want you to lift your butt up into the air, right? That's pike squat or pike position or downward facing dog. And I'll refrain from going into my yoga soapbox today. So downward dog, or the pike squat, which we'll call it from here on out here. The pike squat is where your body makes a triangle, right? Your butt is in the air. Your legs are as straight as they can possibly be, although if you sit a lot, your hamstrings might be screaming at you if you try to straighten them. And your hands are on the floor, shoulder width apart. Don't mash the heel of your hand into the floor. You want to protect your wrist, and the way that you do that is to use the top part of your palm, use your fingertips. Now, the squat part of the pike is to bend the knees while you're in the position, right? That lowers your whole body towards the floor, almost brings you into a partial plank position. But then you straighten your legs back out and you return to the pike. Then bend the knees and then lift the body. Bend the knees and lift the body. 30 more seconds of doing this. Now, go slowly. And again, maintain that consciousness about protecting your wrist, and make sure that when you straighten your legs, you straighten them a little more with each extension, because one of the goals of all workouts is to promote the range of motion through the joints of the body. And the way that you do that is by executing moves with the full complement of range involved. So if you're just going to that soft knee portion, that soft knee extension, when you get to the top of the pike, then you're not fully executing the move to the greatest degree. So turn your body back over. I want you to put yourself back into the position where we're going to do those toe taps again. I call this also, I think I mentioned this on Monday, the Fred Astaire. I have a 91-year-old client who exercises mostly in his bed, and when we get to this exercise, he always tells me that he wants to call this Fred Astaire, so he refuses to call them toe taps. Anyway, so you're lifting your knees back up into the air, your hands are beside your body. Now what I want you to do is to alternate those toe taps once, and again, start slowly. Once you're in the right position, make sure that you don't start moving until you've checked yourself, right? A systems check. Always really smart to do, whether it's a postural systems check when you stand up or when you are starting an exercise regimen, as it were. But in this position here, when you start a new exercise, get that starting position systems check, like sort of just take 2 seconds and think about your body position. So alternating right, left, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. You're going to feel this now. Remember, you're hinging at your hips. Your knee bend does not move. That angle stays 90 degrees the whole time. But your hips are hinging. That means, what does that mean? That means you're building strength in your hip flexors. You're activating, stabilizing through your lower pelvis. And you should feel a little bit of the top part of your thigh muscles also start to burn a little bit. Now, one last time, I'm going to have you turn your body back over and lift back into the pike squat, or the pike position, to be ready for the pike squat. Okay, now your hands are on the floor, shoulder width apart. Watch the mash of the heel of the hand into the floor, right? You want to use use the palm, use your fingertips, and then your feet are shoulder width apart, your butt is in the air. Now, bend your knees and straighten your legs just 2 or 3 times, just to to remember the motion, proper motion. All right, slow motion again. Now, when you get back to that extension, I want you to take a deep breath. As you're exhaling, lower into the squatted position and stay there. Okay? Now we're going to take it up a notch. You're going to do some jumping jacks in this position. So you're in the downward dog squat. And now you're going to jump your feet out, jump your feet back in, and jump your feet out, and jump your feet back in, and go back out, and in, and out, and in. Now straighten your legs. Shake out the legs a little bit if you want. And then one more time, go back into the squat, almost a little lower even maybe, so that you feel your tummy muscles isometrically contract, right? Because when you're horizontal, that's plank. And when you're in plank, and then your rib cage muscles and your ab muscles and back muscles, all that muscle tissue has to contract and work as a team to protect your vital organs. Everything is harder, but that means everything is more metabolic, higher energy output. Now you're staying in that downward dog squatted position, and I want you to do a little ski jump to the left, both feet at the same time, jumping to the left, to the right, if you can. Now, if this is too hard, and I get that sometimes I get to the point where I might ask you to do something that's a little too difficult. That's the beauty of these kinds of exercise regimens. You can go back to the previous level of engagement and stay in your lane, stay in your zone. Totally cool. You want to be safe, right? Okay. Now, stand all the way up. Because what I want you to start with next, or do next, is the walkout push-up, which means you're going to do a postural systems check for a quick second and take a deep breath, pull in your belly button. Now you're going to execute a squat all the way down to the floor. Put your hands on the floor. Walk out to push-up position. Do one push-up. Walk your hands back. Don't move your feet. Walk your hands back and stand all the way up. And when you stand all the way up, you're going to squeeze your butt muscles. That's a hard thing. When I'm thinking of glute, thinking of butt, and I end up saying glute. Stand up and press your heels into the floor so you stand up properly, right? You don't want to bend over. That's the problem with burpees and walkouts. I see it all the time. You don't want to bend over and put strain on your back. Goodness knows no one needs to have a back injury right now. So you want to make sure that you can lower your body down to the floor safely and put your hands on the floor. Go ahead and do a couple more of those. Remember, it's okay to go slowly. We do these for about a minute. The functional 5, we're going to do a couple of plie squats and skater hops in just a second. The functional 5 concept at the most basic, and this is what we typically do mostly on Mondays, is to pick 5 exercises, learn them, right? Educate yourself about these 5 exercises. That's also the Monday part. And then you execute them for about a minute if you're on your own, if you pick these 5 exercises. And I don't really care which 5 exercises you do. The truth of the matter is, as long as you mix and match the moves so that you get a full bouquet of movement, of physical movement that touches on all of functional priorities that we define at my business in Shape Fitness, and really kind of, juices up the body in its entirety, gets the entire body in the mix, right? So now you're standing up tall in that last one. You're going to stand up, execute the plie squat. To do that is to spread your feet out double shoulder width apart, turn your toes out to about 45 degrees, and then lower the body down and lift the body back up, right? You should feel your inner thighs engaged. I'm doing this plie squat today specifically, or this week specifically, because of your inner thighs. Now, who cares about your inner thighs except for like Suzanne Summers? But actually, what happens when you want to, and we're not many of us are doing much moving around right now, but when you're wanting to move forward, when you are either a marathon runner or you want to cycle long distances, or you, are interested in just, being able to go to the spin class every week, you do activate the inner part of your thighs and the outer part of your legs. It's just that those muscles you don't feel them quite as much because they're smaller and they're support muscles. So the plie squat is an exercise that really kind of shines a light on the strength and the flexibility of the inner part of your legs. So that's why we have chosen to do the plie squat this week. Now let's switch to the skater hops, which I've been calling a shuffle because we start with like a little high school dance move, right? Step to the right, step to the left. Keep your back straight, pull in your belly button. Step to the right, step to the left, a bigger step to the right, bigger step to the left. Make sure your feet stay straight. Big thing, right? I just told you to turn your feet out to 45 degrees for the plie squat, but for the skater hops, you don't. Okay, so the transitioning from the shuffle to the skater hop is taking that step to the right, and then the left leg actually goes behind the right leg, past the right leg, and touches down on the floor far to the right. Then the left leg launches to the left into a big leap to the left. Keep the foot straight though. Don't turn the toe out. And the right leg trails and then extends behind the left leg farther over to the left from the left leg position. And then back to the right. And then you keep going. Back to the right, back to the left. And when we get to the real skater hops, the big time ones, if you can hang in with this move, let's try that last level, which we're going to do tomorrow as well. When you step to the right, you're going to turn the body to the right somewhat as you're extending to the right. You turn and drop down, and your left hand touches the floor. You're lower to the floor. Your whole body is almost in a crouch position. Then you explosively leap to the left, laterally leap to the left. And then you turn your body, your torso twists a little bit, and you turn and touch the floor with your right hand. Okay, one more to the right, one more to the left. Then take a deep breath. Now, what I want you to do, stand up really tall. Let's do a couple more of those walkout push-ups, all right? Another 45 seconds of walkout push-ups. So squeeze your glutes as you come up. Make sure that your feet are shoulder width apart. Make sure that you lower the body, hinging at your hips, lowering the body all the way to the floor. Don't bend over and put strain on your back. Walk your hands out, execute one push-up, and then walk your hands back to the squatted position. Then squeeze the glutes. And push your heels into the floor. Press those heels into the floor. That's a really great way to use the back of the leg so that your quads don't take over this exercise. And then a couple more. You're already 40 seconds in, so you've got to finish the one that you're on. Hopefully you did 3-ish of those. Stand now double shoulder width apart again. Turn those feet out. We're going to do something a little bit harder here as you lower into the plie squat. Keep the back straight. Your arms, by the way, could extend up and out like a ballerina. You can channel your inner Misty Copeland here, inner Baryshnikov if you're a guy. And you can bring your arms into a port-a-bras, which is like a giant, big, sort of pretend that you're about to hug somebody in front of your body, in front of your chest, which obviously you're not doing right now. So you're pretend hugging your spouse or your parent or your child. And as you lower the body down, then when you stand back up, you extend your arms back to back to your sides and squeeze your shoulder blades together. It's called a port-a-bras in ballet. So you lower down, invisible hug, squeeze your glutes a little bit and press into the floor again with your heels as you lift back up, and squeeze your shoulder blades as you're in the standing position. All right, lower down one more time, but I don't want you to come up. Now you're in the port-a-bras. You can lower your hands to your hips if you want to do this because we're going to stay here for a couple seconds. You're lowered into the plie squat. Now I want you to lift up your heels and lower your heels. And lift your heels up and lower your heels. Just a couple of these. Up and down, heels up and down and up and down. Now slowly lift back up. And we're going to finish with the skater hops. So if you remember, we're going to start with high school, the high school shuffle. That's fine. But immediately, as soon as you remember, you progress from that shuffle to the lateral leap where your right leg trails your left leg and taps the floor far on the other side. Same with the other direction. The left leg trails the right leg and then extends behind the right leg and taps the floor far to the left. Then start with that rotation. Add that last element in where you twist the body to the right as you take the right leap and your left hand gently, just the fingertips, makes contact with the floor. And if you can't even get to the floor, that's okay too. But the motion where your hand extends down, your right hand kind of extends up a little bit, and then you leap to the left. Right hand extends down, left hand extends up because you're twisting at your torso, right? That torso twist, the ability for your torso to twist is a fundamental part of your functionality as a human being, right? What if someone comes up behind you? You want to, obviously you can turn your body, but if you can twist your torso a little bit, you can see, right? Turn your head and turn your torso. Those ranges of your physical motion are really important. We're not going to solve all those issues today. We're finished with our exercise regimen. So shake it out a little bit, take a couple of deep breaths. But remember, all the sort of the notions of functional exercise have to do with the quality of your life, have to do with your body's ability to move in all the ways that it's built to move, the way that Mother Nature intended, without pain, suffering, and medical interventions, right? Like drugs and therapies and stuff, right? So pain is definitely something you have to think about. You want to make sure that you exercise where you are. I want to meet you where you are, and I can't do that really well in a podcast workout, but I will do my best, which is why we're starting with Mondays and just getting a little more difficult as we proceed through the week. So I'll see you again tomorrow. We'll finish up this week with a mashup of these 5 exercises. But if you have any questions, you need to get in touch with me or my team, reach out to us at bodybynshape.com. Have a great day.